I have to tell her that Lily was looking for her if I see her later. After the events of this morning, class is pretty boring in comparison. I turned the pages of my textbook lazily. I had a bit of a catching up to do, despite trying to keep up with my studies at the hospital, but I'm not feeling that enthusiastic about it. The clock at the front of the room sounds unbearably loud. The teacher hasn't said anything in over 7 minutes. Instead, opting to cover the board in rows and rows of equations taken directly from the book. The rhythmic clashing of chalk on blackboard seems to synchronize perfectly with the ticking of the clock. I start to copy down the equations just to pass the time, even though they were right there in the textbook. When the bell rings, I'm not in any hurry because I have nothing to do, so I stay for a while reviewing what we covered in the class. I prefer to leave last anyway, so I don't have to deal with the crowd in the hallway. I notice Shoujo and Misha have also stayed behind, talking to themselves from another class. Shoujo's signing so fast that her hands make noises like swords cutting through the air. Maybe there's pent-up anger in there. Misha is trying desperately to keep up, but it's clear that she is barely managing to even understand it. Put my head down, whether they're discussing it or... looks like serious business. Shoujo signs the point where her wrists crackle, and Misha's struggling to spit out any word form. Sometimes she tips over herself like she's dealing with tongue twisters, and then on top of that she has to sign back anything the other girl says. Seems like a rough job. Misha looks tired, like she's about to faint. Luckily for her, their business is soon finished and the girls sit down to their seats again. So tired. She's hanging her head limp on her desk, looking exhausted. I use the opportunity to reconcile with Shoujo a bit, without getting roped into the student council thing again, though I suspect the door is now closed for me. Festival preparations must be tough for you. Indeed, the people in the school seem to be taking the festival very seriously. Whenever I see people idling around before and after classes, always talking about their plans for it. It's kind of neat to see everyone being so enthusiastic about it. I'm probably the only one who doesn't have anything to do. She seems scoffs at me a little, as if trying to decide whether to ignore or sneer at me. But in the end she starts signing without doing neither. Misha perks up, looking at her hands with slightly unfocused eyes. She signs with harsh, very dramatic strokes. Misha translated her signing into speech for me. She does it well. It's almost like Shoujo is actually speaking, transmitting her thoughts directly through Misha. She must have practiced it vigorously. Well, of course, we're in the student council, you know, so we're pretty busy. It's an important duty of ours to ensure the success of the festival with all our strength. We would shame ourselves in front of the past student council generations if the festival were to fail. That's why there must be no flaws. I think there was No, nothing that my festival was short to perfect. Shoujo's passionate speech and Misha's encountering fitfully of them. Hello. And there's Hanako. And the music died down rather quickly. I look over my shoulder and see Hanako peering timidly through the classroom, most of her body hidden behind the door. Hey, playing delinquent again? Hanako blushes hard at Misha's straightforward jab, even if it was only a jest. Shoujo stares at her prongingly, causing Hanako to look down and start backing away to the point where only her fingers can be seen wrapped nervously around the edge of the door. Maybe she is showing her dislike of Hanako by associating of her dislike of Lily. It appears so, and Hanako probably knows it as well. What is it, Hanako? Has Lily been here? Sorry, I haven't seen Satao. She came by in the morning, though. Hanako keeps looking uneasy at Shoujo, who stares back at her with her casual, studying gaze. What is it she's trying to do? Of course, Shoujo isn't going to look away, and she is immediately enough intimidating enough as it is, so I can only imagine how terrified Hanako would be. It is a little uncomfortable watching Hanako's reaction to Shizune's normal behaviour. This is what happens when two people of two different extremes meet, it seems. Do you know where she is? If she has any sense in her head, she is in her classroom working on their festival project, but who knows where the woman is loitering at. You need to find her. She was looking for you in the morning, but I guess you have missed each other. She waits a little without answering the simple question, looking awfully like she's not sure if it's a proper answer to such a question. Yeah. I can come with you, if it's okay. Hanako nods fractionally, still on guard, her shoulders stiff as wood. I get the feeling that she might be more comfortable by herself after all, but it's too late to back off now. She has this really troubling expression she seems to wear almost constantly, one that makes me constantly be on guard myself. I wonder why. I kind of understand why she's always seemed to be so wary, or maybe more like why would be a person like her. What? Why there could be a person like her. But I still have no idea how I should act around such a person. It's dinner time soon. Were you planning to eat with Lily? She nods slightly. So she must have been trying to get to the cafeteria. Well, there's something of a dinner crowd, just like the cafeteria is crowded during lunch. It's not as bad because dinner is longer than lunch hour. I can understand why Hanako would be discouraged from going in. I pick my bag and we take our leave. Hanako skips a little to meet my initial pace, so I slow down to match her speed. It doesn't take long for us to be walking at a comfortable pace down the hallway. It almost feels like we're going for a stroll together, something that I can't say I've really done before with a girl. Hanako doesn't seem to be thinking the same way though. Even though we were walking at the same pace, she never comes within arm's reach of me. I guess she's a little uncomfortable around me, given how shy she is. There doesn't seem to be much helping it, at least for now. By the time we arrived in the cafeteria, there's not much of a crowd there, but Lily is nowhere to be seen. Hanako's head sinks even lower than usual. Have you looked somewhere else already? Just at the library I was reading. She does spend the... so not exactly a thorough search then. Well, if I had to guess, she'd be in her own class like Shizune said, right? Right. With the slightest of nods, Hanako agrees with my reason. God, she's being so awkward. It's like I need double-layered silk gloves with padding to even begin interacting with her. Some small talk might help her become a bit more used to me. It isn't hard to tell that the silence between us is hovering on the edge of both our minds. So you and Lily usually hang out together after class, right? Yes. It's not quite sure what I expected for her answer, nor why I even asked the question. That much was rather obvious after all. She doesn't seem like the type to cultivate a social circle. Even so, I suspect that Lily may well be her only friend. Must be a pain being in different classes, I'm guessing. She gives a sharp, almost reflective nod. Reflexive. Compared to Lily's careful thought about her actions and speak, Hanako hastens to make her answers as prompt and short as possible. Lily comes by the classroom, though, even when she's busy, and gives a smile as she says it, evidently appreciating the fact that Lily goes out of her way to help her. It's pretty cute, really. There isn't any need to say more, both of us content that the discussion reached at an end.